Hello and welcome to the final OCVarsity Gridiron show of the year. We are previewing week 6. Yes, it's the final week. We're only in week 6, but that's what it's like during a pandemic, everybody. We're happy that everyone got to play these 6 games, and here we are with a final preview of the week. And you know we're going to start it off with the big one. Mater Dei versus St. John Bosco, and Steve Rollinson had something to say about this matchup, didn't he?
Yeah, apparently somebody asked him, you ready for this game? And he goes, it's on like popcorn, baby, with all the salt and butter you can handle.
I can't take your Rollo impressions. They get me every time.
Neither can my throat.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how he does it.
It hurts my insides. It hurts right here. It just really hurts. But guys, let's get serious.
Well, that's where your heart is, so that's a nice spot.
Wow, that was beautiful. Okay, here we go. Let's talk football. Football is beautiful in a kind of way. Wait, maybe it's
I love it.
Yeah. Well, we all do. Here we go. St. John Bosco, what did they do last year or last season? They beat Mater Dei 39-34 in the CIF championship game, but they did lose that their league game earlier that season to the Monarchs. They have met in the last 4 CIF championship games. These stats coming from Scott French. Bosco is 9-6 versus Mater Dei since Jason Negro became the head coach in 2010. But the Monarchs have had the edge. We're talking 5-3 in the past 4 seasons, winning 3 of 4 Trinity League championships. What are you looking for in this matchup? I know your Trinity League football podcast will be all over this, but I need to get it from you right now. Who do you got?
You know, at the beginning of the year, Scotty and my partner on the podcast, we both picked St. John Bosco to win this game. And to win the league championship. But I think Mater Dei is going to really make it a great game. So I would probably picking Bosco, I believe, is the favorite. And I think, one of the big advantages I think they have is just they have so many they have a stronger offensive line. They are huge up front, and they're really running the ball well. They have this, really like a 4-headed monster, a ground attack. Got the fast guy in Rayshawn Luke. And then Bates and Hayes are excellent runners as well. They're a little bit more in between the tackles. But then you have the sophomore Pierce Clarkson, who's a really great dual threat running back with a lot of speeds. And, he can run at will. So I think that's going to be the biggest, challenge for Mater Dei. And then, of course, the Braves have an X factor, and that's Mateo, the younger brother, the sophomore, the not so little brother of DJ, who's a 6'5", 260-pound sophomore, tight end, defensive end, and he can just seem to make big plays at the big moments. That's got to be a big concern. They probably don't have anybody that can match up with him on defense, and they got to watch for him, on what he does off the edge.
Mateo is a specimen. I mean, to see him in person, it's kind of like you're looking up and you're like, what? This guy is only a sophomore? Oh, my goodness. Beware Trinity League. Young concrete, they call him. Steve, we'll go to you and we'll talk about Mater Dei and what did they do last week? Well, they picked up another victory. They beat an improving Santa Margarita team. Mater Dei won 49-13. Elijah Brown, the freshman quarterback, had 4 touchdowns. Raleek Brown adding a couple on the run, if you will, with 2 scores. And the Monarchs, they really improved themselves penalty-wise compared to last week, didn't they, Steve?
Yeah, they did. If I'm St. John Bosco, I try and go after freshman quarterback Elijah Brown of Mater Dei. I try and rattle him and get in his face and do what I can and lit my defensive backfield, which has got all kinds of speed all over the place back there, cover those receivers and limit the big play capacity that Mater Dei has with this passing game. Thinking back to the only time I've seen Mater Dei is when they played Servite. Servite didn't quite have the speed in the defensive backfield to counter that great group of receivers that Mater Dei has, CJ Williams, et cetera. So I think that they might have a little trouble getting some of the big plays like they were able to do against Servite. Mater Dei runs the ball pretty well, like you mentioned with Edison Brown. That's pretty good too for them also. But the ukulele, great tight end, the big guy. I don't know what Mater Dei does with that. You drop back their big sophomore, 6'5", David Bailey, who impressed the heck out of me in the Mater Dei Servite game. That's a guy we might be playing on Sunday someday. Do you drop him back and try and do something there with him? I don't know. It's going to be very tough. Like Dan, I'm going with Bosco, but man, it's going to be a barn burner of a game. Can Mater Dei win this game? Of course, they can game plan the heck out of it, get big plays out of their big guys and win this game. But right now, just looking on paper, where the athletes are, where's the athletic edge? St. John Bosco.
All right, guys, let's move on to the South Coast League, where we have another league championship on the line with two undefeated teams. We're talking 4-0 Mission Viejo, the reigning champs, taking on San Clemente. The Tritons will be at home. They're 4-0 and 2-0 in league. This will be Friday night. Last week, the Tritons beat Tesoro 35-17, and the star of the night was James Bowles. He had 3 rushing touchdowns. But Dan, can San Clemente take down the mighty Diablos of Mission Viejo?
The Tritons are certainly capable. And one of the biggest reasons why is because of James Bowles. So he's Arizona committed senior, and he's fast and strong. And you don't get running backs in high school football, Pac-12 running backs, very often throughout Orange County. And this is one of the best running backs to come out of San Clemente in a long time. And yeah, in the South Coast League, he's got 37 carries in his 2 games for 328 yards and 6 touchdowns. So he's averaging like about 160 yards per game, 3 touchdowns. This is against Tesoro and San Juan Hills. And he's really averaging about 18 carries a game. And I don't think he's really playing that much defense. Against against San Juan Hills, when I saw him, he wasn't playing defense. He's a good defensive player as well. Maybe he has to play more defense in this game because the Diablos are so talented. But James Bowles gives them a great chance, especially if he's able to, does he have 30 carries in him for 200 yards? Mission Viejo's got some good linebackers. They have a great defensive coordinator, Coach Payton. But James Bowles is a problem for Mission Viejo, and they definitely know it. And then we'll have to see how San Clemente's defense holds up. They're pretty quick. They've been flying around. We'll see how that secondary can hold up against some talented, aerial attack from the Diablos. But this could be a great game. San Clemente's at home. They have a chance. They're not the favorite, though. Mission's the favorite.
Okay, let's see what Steve Fryer thinks. But before we do, let's recap what the Diablos did last week. They beat San Juan Hills 49-14. These are stats compiled by Michael Huntley, who was at the game. Sophomore Caden Samanza had 5 touchdowns, throwing for 329 yards. 3 touchdowns were caught by Mikey Matthews. Steve, they have a high-powered offense. They scored 21 points in under 3 minutes. And their defense picked up 8 sacks. Looks like Mission's being Mission. Your take on this game, Steve?
Yeah, they're certainly peaking at the right time, right? And Samanza had his best game of the year. And, young guy like that, playing his best at the best time of year to do so. And that defense is terrific out there, too. I think they're going to really key on James Bowles and make Triton throw the football, and that's going to work in Mission Viejo's favor. I look for another good game from Samanza in this. Mikey Matthews, man, check it out. Go through YouTube or whatever and look some of the catches this guy makes, because he's a pretty spectacular football player with one-handed grabs and all those fancy things like that. So, like Dan, I think Mission Viejo is a favorite, and I like the Diablos in this one.
All right, so we have one last league championship to cover this pandemic-fueled season, and that is in the Freeway League. 2 more undefeated teams will clash Friday night. This game is at La Habra as the Highlanders host Sunny Hills. Both teams are 5-0. What happened last season? La Habra beat Sunny Hills handedly 49-7, but all indications point to a much tougher game this time around. Dan, we'll go to you first and we'll talk Lancers. What did they do last week? They beat Fullerton 31-7 to take the Fullerton City Championship, if you will. Sunny Hills has held their last 4 opponents to exactly 7 points each. That defense is on point. And Dan, I know you always look towards the defense because, let's face it, defense wins championships. Does Sunny Hills have enough defensively to contain La Habra and pick up a victory, a rare victory in the Freeway League for them against La Habra?
Yeah, super rare. The last time Sunny Hills defeated La Habra in the Freeway League, which the Highlanders have pretty much owned, is 1998. That's a long time ago. But as we know, things have really changed at Sunny Hills in recent years under Coach Karavitas. They won the CIF title last year. He was OC Coach of the Year. And they're playing some smash mouth ball. And I think the way they are running the ball, the way they're playing defense, they have a real shot in this game. The Sunny Hills score against Fullerton was an eye-opener last week. That's a team that took La Habra at overtime. And, the Indians, if you listen to them, they would, and rightfully so, they think they should have won that game. And look what Sunny Hills does to Fullerton. So this is going to be a really good game. I checked in with Yorba Linda coach Jeff Bailey, trying to get a little bit of a, scoop, what's his scouting report on Sunny Hills. And you listen to him, and the way he talks about Sunny Hills, he says that they're very physical, the way they run the ball, and they stop the ball really well. And I think La Habra's kind of going through some transitions. I think that sets up for this to be a really close game, the way Coach Bailey breaks it down there. So, again, La Habra is the favorite. Sunny Hills, I think psychologically and mentally, that's where this is the challenge is, do they believe that they can beat La Habra? What's their confidence level? And I think it's probably pretty high coming off a CIF championship and that comparative score with Fullerton.
Yeah, if it's going to be any year for Sunny Hills to beat La Habra, it might be this year. As we go to you, Steve, and talk La Habra. By the way, the last time, like you said, Dan, Sunny Hills beat La Habra in 1998. I was a freshman at Sunny Hills. I didn't even remember that. It's been such a long time. Dan, Steve, we'll go to you now. What did La Habra do last week? They shut out Troy. I mean, it was 41-0. They've shut out their last two opponents by a combined score of 103-0. So, Steve, just like we talked about with Mission Viejo, is La Habra peaking at the right time? And does Sunny Hills have a chance to slay Goliath?
Like Dan was saying, a lot of it's mental. I remember so many years, modern day Servite games, for example. Servite had the talent, had the guys and all that stuff, but just up here, they see those three stripes on those red helmets and just something shakes them up. Maybe that's the same thing Sunny Hills has with La Habra. On the flip side, is La Habra a little overconfident, maybe not taking them that seriously? Well, they should, having looked at that score, like Danny mentioned about Sunny Hills really thumping Fullerton and Fullerton taking La Habra into overtime. So, I think that there's a mental edge here for La Habra in this game, playing at home and all this stuff. They better take Sunny Hills super seriously. I know that in the Sunny Hills Fullerton game, talking to a couple of people, Fullerton did not play like they could and like they had against La Habra earlier in the season. So, I think La Habra has got the mental edge in this game. The quarterback Gill's having a good season for them right now, and their defense is doing really fine. They can't be overconfident. They got to take Sunny Hills seriously. I think they will, and I think La Habra wins this game.
Okay. And the guys will have more predictions. They'll have rankings all week on OCVarsity. There'll be tons of great content coming out this week as we wrap up the final season in football. But we all hope to be back in a different capacity in August for another new season. I want to thank Steve Fryer and Dan for being with us. During this tough time that we're in, we're all doing the best we can. And Dan, I'll go to you for any final words you have to say to kind of wrap this up.
Well, there's a lot of great games this week, throughout Orange County. It's like, rivalry week. You could look at what's happening with, Yorba Linda Villa Park and Orange taking on Santa Ana. And, the list goes on. I mean, Segerstrom Marina. I can mention a lot of games. Personally, I would have loved to see a bowl game scenario happen for these football guys. They don't get a playoffs. This is a Monday. We're happy for the season 2 guys that are getting playoffs. They lost so much to spring sports last year. Would love to see some bowl games. It's not going to happen, but the 6 games is going to be great. And I do believe the modern day Bosco game is the unofficial state championship. And I'm excited for that one to go down on Saturday.
Steve, we'll go to you. Any final thoughts on this very strange season?
Well, I'll tell you what, I saw such a wonderful game Friday. Coronel Del Mar and Edison going into 5 overtimes. They just traded blows all game long. It was amazing. Like I said on Twitter, I should have paid to get in there, because I was so thoroughly entertained. It was a fantastic game. And, looking out at the field of those two teams, everybody was spent, on that game. They'd given everything. They laid everything out on the field, gave it 100% of everything they had. And it was like, even though Coronel Del Mar had lost, you could sense there was a sort of joy that we were in this game. When those dudes on the field get to be my age, they're going to look back and they're still going to be talking about that game forever. That is what makes high school sports so grand. We got a good taste of that on Friday. I'm just so happy these young people got that chance to have great moments like I witnessed when I saw Corona Del Mar Edison this past Friday.
Yeah, really well said. And that definitely encapsulates this entire season. Everyone working so hard, from the admins to the athletic directors to the players and coaches. It's just been a combined effort for all of this to occur, and we're all grateful. It's been a lot of fun to cover as well. Thanks to Dan. Thanks to Steve. We'll see you next season on the OC Varsity Gridiron Show. Bye, everybody.